5'6" funky Florida man coming at you again with a new infuriating update in the disastrous handling of the Jeffrey Epstein case here. No good news on this front, sports fans. All of us continue to wiggle our cheeks into the front row seats to blatant, evil, degenerate corruption with the most obvious cover-up of all time and unfolding right in front of our fucking faces. Today, I'm sure a lot of you saw, there was an amendment put forth that would try and force the DOJ to release the information they have on Epstein. I'm going to go ahead and immediately tackle the titties on this one up front because some new talking points have hit the influencers' desks. A bunch of these shill android homunculi are going around with the pocket watch out, trying to hypnotize the public into believing that this amendment was trying to push for something that it wasn't. They are claiming that this amendment was trying to have the DOJ release unredacted information and evidence in the Epstein case, meaning all the victims' names and videos and shit, and basically saying that it was trying to get them to release child porn here, which is so fucking outlandish, it is lunacy. That is a load of barnacles, and yet there are a lot of people that now believe it because they didn't bother to look at it themselves at all. From all available information, as well as from the individual behind the amendment himself, this was basically just trying to get the DOJ to release the Epstein evidence and client list, which, as you might recall, is exactly what Trump promised to do. Not only Trump, but a lot of people in the administration as well, and a lot of people that ran with that as a crucial point, all of them assuring the public that if they get elected, this would be something that they would release, for sure, because it's extremely important. Now, they haven't, and they are actively denying its existence and burying it. And now the new talking point is Trump claiming that, well, the files do exist, contrary to what the DOJ and FBI said about, like, there being no client list and no blackmail. Trump is saying, no, the files exist, but you can't trust them, they're fraudulent because they were written by Obama and crooked Hillary. But in essence, you can kind of boil this amendment down to basically just wanting Trump and the administration to follow through on that promise of releasing what they said they would release. This is the flight logs, this is the client list, that kind of shit. It is not trying to force the DOJ to release unredacted videos and information of the victims. That is obviously not something that anyone is asking be shared with the public. It is disgusting, and it is a crazy deflection that they're trying to pull here. So, anyway, this amendment was put in there, and it was voted on by, first, the House Rules Committee, where it caught the hands in the Thunderdome and got blocked. They took it over their knee and spanked its keister. Also, I am unfamiliar with Virginia Fox here, but she is looking like an ancient artifact here. That is a fossil. Pardon me while I go on a bit of a tangent here. It's a little unrelated to everything, but I'm just so tired of how everyone in power seems to be extraordinarily old. She looks straight out of a sarcophagus. Why is everyone in power here so old? Like, Jesus Christ, she looks like every time she farts, dust comes out. And it's not like exclusive to just like some political people here and there. It's like a ton of them. Fucking Joe Biden was hardly ever lucid. You'd have to wave like an ice cream cone around his nose just to get him alert for conferences. Like, it is crazy how common it is that the people that lead us are so fucking old. Like, Trump is extremely old too. So many of them are, and I am really tired of that being commonplace. Anyway, though, I'll stop ranting about that. The amendment got blocked here. But that didn't mean that it was completely dead in the water. It then went to another vote, which was the whole House voting on it. But spoiler alert, you can probably piece together the breadcrumbs here. Didn't go so well there either.
On this vote, the yeas are 211, the nays are 210. The previous question is ordered. The question is on adoption of the resolution. Those in favor say aye. Those opposed say no. In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it.
R.I.P. to that. That got fucking two-pieced here today. It lost 211 to 210. Now, as I understand it, this would have been leading to a debate, at least, on the topic of the Epstein Files. And it still got blocked. Even just the notion of talking deeper about the Epstein Files. Now, I was reading a bit from people that have been very vocal about how important this is to them, yet they came in here and still voted to block it. And from what I've read, they're saying that it was confusing in that this amendment was attached to a larger discussion and vote around cryptocurrency and legislation in regards to cryptocurrency, so some voted no because of that. I also read some of them saying that This wasn't actually a vote about the Epstein thing because it was attached to the Genius Act, which was the cryptocurrency thing. What they were voting no to was the Democrats having the House floor or something to that effect. Ultimately, though, the outcome is the same. There is now not going to be a debate or deeper discussion on the Epstein Files and client list as a result of this amendment or anything. It has been blocked in that regard. So whatever the reason for the no was, the outcome is that is not going to happen, at least not from this amendment, at least not right now. Regardless, the outcome remains the same. The Epstein Files remain in this limbo where for many years they had existed and were very important, and any day now it's coming, and then a week ago DOJ, FBI says it's not real, there's no list, there's no blackmail, Epstein killed himself, and now, a few days after that, the files are real, they do exist, but Obama and crooked Hillary wrote them. So it is just a huge fucking song and dance, and ultimately still getting nowhere here. Our government continues to unapologetically protect pedophiles that were incriminated in the Jeffrey Epstein case. Still, no arrests have been made, and they continue to lie about even the existence of some of this evidence. And they're hoping that eventually you'll just move on from it. If they can continue to downplay it and try and hypnotize you into thinking it's no big deal, maybe eventually you'll swallow the shit they feed you with a big smile on your face and be the compliant, good little drone that they want you to become. And for some people, it is working. Unfortunately, every single day there's more and more people just wanting to bury this and move on from it. But I also think there's a large number of people that can see right through this garbage and see just how corrupt this is.
Just a very quick briefing, and in terms of the credibility of the different things that they've seen, and I would say that, these files were made up by Comey, they were made up by Obama, they were made up by the Biden we went through years of that with the Russia hoax, with all of the different things that we had to go through. We've gone through years of it. But she's handled it very well, and it's going to be up to her. Whatever she thinks is credible, she should release, yeah.
They think you're a fucking bumbling moron. They think you are stupid. It is unbelievable how little they think of your intelligence to be trying to pull shit like this. Trump continues to try and assure everyone that, well, I guess the files are definitely real now because Trump keeps talking about them, but don't trust them. They are altered. They're fraudulent because they were written by Obama and, the whole crew there, the Democrats. It was all part of this big hoax. Which I'm begging, if you please just think for a couple of seconds, if that was the case, if these files were all bogus baloney, why wouldn't they have used it as a weapon against Trump and conservatives in general? Why would they engineer this big fraudulent list and then not use it? And also themselves bury it. And pardon me for being a little bold here, but I'd like to plant a little seed in people's noodles. The Democrats have had ample opportunity to also make the Epstein investigation, the files and client list, a priority to release to the public and actually try and hold these criminals accountable. They had years to do this. Why didn't they pursue it when Biden was in office? The only explanation would be that there are powerful people in that party that are also guilty and incriminated in those files. So this has been something that's been a real hot potato that neither political party has really wanted to grip onto. Neither one of them have wanted to actually, dive deeper into the Epstein case. At least not until recently, where it seems like there are some people that are making a push to make it more of a priority. And if something can finally come from that, some justice where these criminals get locked up, that would be fantastic. But as of right now, that's still not happening. It is still in this fucking purgatory, and it is disgusting. This shit is absolutely tragic. And yeah, just another bad update, unfortunately, on this whole Jeffrey Epstein case. That's really about it. So yeah. I'm running out of words to express my disbelief in how the Jeffrey Epstein case is being handled by the government. I'm having to make up words to try and encapsulate my feelings. We're all being mahoujanized here by these elites in power that are so desperate to bury the Epstein conversation. To briefly bring you up to speed, if you're a little lost, previously on Dragon Ball Z, the FBI and DOJ had concluded their investigation and determined that there was no Epstein client list, there was no blackmail, and Epstein did indeed take his own life. This runs counter to everything the government has said for years in the previous administration and in the current administration. Even infamously Pam Bondi saying she's got the files, everything's on her desk, and it set so many deadlines for its release. And one of the big talking points for a lot of people running for positions of power was how they were going to be the ones to declassify the Epstein Files and release the Epstein Files. But then the DOJ and FBI pulled a reflafitation job here and just retconned all the lore, sent out some new talking points to the puppets, that there is no client list, there is no blackmail, and he killed himself. So that's what all these ghoulish vermin, these zombies in suits, have been spouting. Until last night, where Trump made a post that said, there are files, but they're made by Obama, Crooked Hillary, the Democrats, and everyone. Which goes against what the DOJ and FBI was just trying to say about the outright existence of those kind of things not being in the fucking corporeal realm. But now Trump is saying, no, they're there, but they're like really fraudulent because Obama and Hillary and everyone, they like made them. It was so absurd, in fact, that he got ratioed on his own platform by his most loyal of enthusiasts. It is such a bad job at covering this up, everyone is seeing through it. And I want to go over it here, because this is like a full-blown reflafitation that we're witnessing. Like, that's not even a word, and yet that word still elicits some kind of emotion. Like, it still feels like it fucking means something. I don't have words to express how bad all of this has become. It's unreal. What's going on with my boys, and in some cases, gals? An excellent intro right there. That would be an A+ on the summer book report. My God, what a way of starting a post. They're all going after Attorney General Pam Bondi, who's doing a fantastic job. We're on one team, MAGA, and I don't like what's happening. We have a perfect administration, the talk of the world, and selfish people are trying to hurt it, all over a guy who never dies, Jeffrey Epstein. For years, it's Epstein over and over again. Why are we giving publicity to files written by Obama, Crooked Hillary, Comey, Brennan, and losers and criminals of the Biden administration who conned the world with the Russia hoax, 51 intelligence agents, the laptop from hell, and more? He literally right there says that there's files, which is the exact opposite of what the DOJ and FBI have been saying, that there are no files, there are no client lists, there is nothing there. But now he's saying it is there, but you can't trust it because Obama and Hillary and all these other people worked on it. Like, what the fuck? He continues, why didn't the radical left lunatics release the Epstein Files? If there was anything in there that could have hurt the MAGA movement, why didn't they use it? Fucking exactly! If this was written by Obama and Crooked Hillary, why wouldn't they have used this against you when they had power? Fucking Biden was president for 4 years. If they had already orchestrated this fraudulent Epstein list, don't you think they would have dropped it as a weapon against you? You are contradicting your own statement here. The reason these files haven't been released is because it implicates so many people from all sides of the political spectrum, so both sides are fucking fearful of these ever seeing the light of day. If this really was written by Obama and the crew here, surely that would have dropped at some point. No doubt. I'm going to go ahead and fast forward to the end here because the little nugget at the end is unreal. 1 year ago, our country was dead. Now it's the hottest country anywhere in the world. Let's keep it that way and not waste time and energy on Jeffrey Epstein, somebody that nobody cares about. One of the biggest pedophiles in history, with clientele that includes some of the most powerful people in the world. And now all of a sudden nobody cares about Jeffrey Epstein? What? What are you trying to even say? You yourself even made the promise that you would declassify the Epstein Files if you were elected. If you were elected, you were going to make a big song and dance about this transparency and the Epstein Files coming out. So many people around you also made the same claims, and now all of a sudden, nobody cares about Jeffrey Epstein? Nobody? Nobody out there at all? Huh, that's so odd. That's so weird how that just fucking flip-flopped. That's really weird. This desperation from the people in power to bury this conversation should be extraordinarily alarming to anyone that is using any amount of neurons in their noodle. Like, just think for a moment. Why are they trying to pretend that this is nothing? They're trying to, like, hypnotize or brainwash people into just writing this off as no big deal. They were talking about children being raped by so many people in power. In what universe is that not a huge issue that everyone should care about? You are paying taxes to and are being controlled by people that were raping children. And they are not facing justice, even though justice is what was promised by this administration and had been repeated so many times to the American public of how they were going to be pursuing justice come hell or high water. Everyone that Epstein ever associated with, everyone incriminated in these files, is going to face the piper. So put that in your pipe and smoke it, criminals. And now they're just saying, no, it's not real, it doesn't exist, there's no evidence of that, we're not doing anything. And not only are they not doing anything, they're actively lying to the public about all of it, and now trying to convince the public that it's stupid to make a big deal out of it, and that you're wrong for making a big deal out of it. Again, keep in mind, a lot of people that are currently in power use the Jeffrey Epstein talking point as a huge piece, because the previous administration completely fucking failed in delivering anything of substance in regards to that investigation. So, this next cycle, a ton of people were using it as a way of trying to win over a lot of people about how transparent they're going to be and how justice is going to be a priority. And now that they're in a position to actually deliver on that justice, they're just burying it, outright just denying its existence, and making sure all of those that were implicated get away with it. I don't know how any sane human being with a functioning frontal lobe could look at this as anything other than a complete betrayal and a lie in using their power to protect these elite pedophiles on the Jeffrey Epstein list. It should be something everyone cares about, but they're trying to tell you to reject what you know to be true and just mindlessly follow their every single word. Words that change every single day. There's no one story. They are constantly flip-flopping. They're not even in agreement with their own stories at all, but you just need to swallow all the shit they feed you. They were already telling you how important Jeffrey Epstein and everything in regards to that case was. Now they're telling you it's not important and it's not real, so get over it. You need to not let that actually take hold in your psyche. This is the most blatant, bad cover-up ever. This is the worst cover-up job in history, yet somehow it is actually still working for some people. There are people that are now just writing it off as no big deal. Guys, can we get on to the next thing now? This is stupid. We're so hung up on this Epstein thing. I've never even heard of Epstein. Epstein? I don't even know how to say his name. I have no idea what any of this is about. All I know is there's no big deal. Fucking goofball Stephen A. Smith recently had this to say about it.
It's really, really surprising that this matters. Of course, I think there's a list, but I don't know. I suspect, but I have no knowledge, nor do I care. It's Friday night. I'm getting ready to go out and enjoy myself. I'm getting ready to have a nice weekend. I could give a damn about the client list, the Epstein client list. This has no effect on me whatsoever. I have a life. I don't understand for the life of me why this matters so much to these. I'm talking about people losing it. They're crying on camera. They're talking about resignations. They're pissed off about everything. I'm like, really?
That's a fascinating perspective there, Stephen. I see you put on your stupid cap for this. That's very interesting. So it's no big deal to you that children were being raped by Epstein and all of his associates, many of those associates being very powerful political figures? That you don't understand why that would be a big deal or something that people care about? Oh, but you're going out on Friday night to go eat fucking shrimp or something, so you're having a great time. It doesn't affect you. What is even the point you're trying to make here? You're just implying that because you're about to go have a nice Friday night, you have a life, thus you can't be bothered to care about these absolutely heinous crimes that other people seem to care about that you don't understand why. Good news, everyone. Stephen A. Smith is not directly affected by the unthinkable crimes committed by Epstein and all of his associates, so the case is closed. There is no point in even pursuing justice against all of the criminals that were involved. There's certainly no point in talking about it any further. In fact, he is criticizing people that are talking about it still. He doesn't think it's that big of a deal because he's busy. He's a busy guy. He's a very social guy. He's got a function on a Friday night where he can go enjoy some hors d'oeuvres. He doesn't really seem to care all that much about this whole Epstein thing and all the victims there, I suppose. That's what he's implying. So move on. That's the message he's delivering here. It's crazy. He is directly implying that it doesn't affect him. He doesn't seem to care and doesn't think anyone is justified in caring. It doesn't make sense to him why people care so much about these heinous, evil crimes. That is crazy that he is just confidently saying that with his whole chest. He's unafraid to just say how little it matters to him with how evil this shit is. You can see the talking points have now actually hit the desks. So there's a lot of people that are now trying to regurgitate this vomit about it's just not a big deal. It's so surprising anyone cares. And you can see that his cohort here is giggling. His handlers went and programmed some laughter into his protocol so that way they could try and turn this into a joke. Which is like the administration has done that before. Remember when they teased the Epstein Files release and what they actually did was drop a Rickroll on Twitter for it? It's crazy. They have taken one of the biggest pedophiles in history that has the most evil shit ever in it and have made it into this, a joke, and trying to parade it around like it's no big deal and that you're wrong for caring about it.
With all the stuff going on in this country, with all the power that you possess because of the cachet and the influence you have because of your connection to this administration, that's why you upset at Trump. I didn't blame Trump one bit for looking at them and saying, really? That really matters to you? That's really that important? Now, maybe he had a different reason for saying it, trying to be evasive or whatever. I don't know. But I do know this. In the grand scheme of things, it ain't going to affect the lives of over 2 to 300 million Americans. I think we'll be just fine without knowing whether or not there was really a client list. I think we'll be okay. It's unbelievable that this is a big deal to me. It really is.
Holy shit, Steven. You're like Superman. No, you're like an anime protagonist. What a hero with this take. It's unbelievable to Steven that anyone cares about children being raped and being upset that the people responsible aren't being thrown in jail for it. They're not facing any repercussions and they remain in power. He can't process why anyone would care about that. What an interesting perspective, Steven. That is very special stuff. Fascinating. This is fucking unhinged. He is just proudly, confidently saying that people need to just like move on and grow up, that this isn't some like big deal, and he can't wrap his head around why anyone's caring about it. Because he's not directly affected by it because he's going to go eat dinner. Like, what? What? Like, I'm actually having like a fucking Scatman level meltdown right here at a loss for words. How people can actually have that mentality. Everyone is affected by this, by the way, because it now proves that there are people that are above the law. And those people are people you directly pay taxes to in a lot of cases, Steven. Everyone is affected here, you fucking goober. He's not the only one. This has become like a common talking point. I guess the talking point emails went out maybe with a little bit of money under the table for it as well. That this is now what they're trying to regurgitate. They're trying to plant this idea in everyone's head that it's been blown way out of proportion and that you shouldn't care about it. They are trying to convince you not to care about this level of evil and that they will lie directly to your face. Like, you can go to their own words over the last year or so, and you can hear them talk about it very differently, about how important the Jeffrey Epstein investigation is, and the client list, and the blackmail, all those files. Like, that had become a crucial talking point for these same people that are now saying, no big deal, doesn't exist, move on. Ask yourself, why? Why? Just please, I'm begging you, do not let someone like Stephen A. Smith convince you that it's not something you should care about. You should. It's extremely important. And it is crazy that it continues to get even more insane with the handling of the entire Epstein conversation. They are so desperate to bury it. It's fucking scary. It's really about it. See ya. Yep, much to the chagrin of a lot of people in power, the conversation around Jeffrey Epstein doesn't seem to be fizzling out anytime soon, which is great. Hopefully, it will keep this steam and will never peter out because it is of the utmost importance that this gets corrected, that they stop trying to perpetuate these lies that they're attempting to shove down the American public's throat about Jeffrey Epstein not having a list, not indulging in blackmail, and then trying to drop what has now been revealed as modified footage of Jeffrey Epstein's cell area to prove that he took his own life and no one came in there. There was no fishy business. The Baba Yaga didn't pay him a visit or anything. And they try and proclaim that that footage was like the raw, real deal, organic sourced footage here. But what we're talking about today, it turns out that was once again another fucking lie. CoffeeZilla just made a video talking about it as well, so I'm going to play a few clips from that because he is significantly more intelligent than I am. And buckle your seatbelt because it is a wild ride.
The raw Epstein footage was modified according to its metadata, despite Dan Bongino previously saying that they would release the original footage so you wouldn't think there were shenanigans.
There's video. We are working on cleaning it up to make sure you have an enhanced, and we're going to give the original so you don't think there were any shenanigans.
Well, unfortunately, that's not what we got.
To briefly explain for those that don't know, when the DOJ and FBI came out and said that Epstein did not have a list, did not indulge in blackmail, and did in fact commit suicide, they then dropped some footage that was supposed to corroborate that there really was no one else that entered his area and killed him or anything. So they dropped a lot of footage. And it was supposed to be the raw feed of it. Turns out that doesn't seem to be the case. It was very likely modified, and you're about to see the metadata that indicates that it most likely was, as well as a forensic expert that weighs in that also thinks that it was not done properly here.
And basically they pulled the metadata and showed that the footage appears to be assembled from at least 2 source clips, saved multiple times, exported, and then uploaded to the DOJ's website, where it was presented as raw footage, which technically it is not. Now, I pulled the EXIF data myself. This is what it looks like. You can see that there's these ingredients file path here, where you can see 4 different files. 2 of them are just identical. So 2 unique files here that have been basically stitched together is the most charitable interpretation.
So they went into Adobe Premiere and edited the footage, saving it multiple times. I cannot believe that they would even leave the metadata intact. You would think that these 3-letter organizations would be better at hiding their dirty work. Now, maybe if they were using the superior editing program, Sony Vegas, they would have been able to, get away with it more effectively, because Sony Vegas probably doesn't even have metadata. It's so fucking archaic. But they went into Adobe Premiere, spliced this together, and then sent it as raw when it is not raw. It is edited. That is, legitimately, by all possible definitions, a lie. Even though Bongino said, no, you're going to get the raw, so there's no shenanigans. But all we get is shenanigans.
Yes, maybe you didn't do anything with it, but it kind of ruins the whole chain of evidence. Wired actually quotes a professor of UC Berkeley whose research focuses on digital forensics. He has testified in numerous court cases, and he says, if a lawyer brought me this file and asks if it was suitable for court, I'd say no. Go back to the source. Do it right. Do a direct export from the original system. No monkey business.
It's actually scary just how blatant this corruption is. For years, they have talked about the Epstein list and the blackmail. It is something that everybody knows exists. There is endless amounts of evidence to suggest its legitimacy. Yet now, all of a sudden, they're like, nah, it's not real. No, that's just fictitious. That's like fucking Santa Claus's list right there. That's not real. No naughty and nice list. No Jeffrey Epstein list. There's no such thing. Jeffrey Epstein's not even a real person. That's just a made-up fairy tale. They haven't gone that far with that claim, but like I said last time, I feel like we're not far off from them just trying to deny Jeffrey Epstein ever even existed, trying to scrub him from the history books here. But they are actively just not even trying to make this believable. They are so confident that they will not be held accountable that they don't even bother to do even the slightest amount of elbow grease to convince anyone to believe them. And they're right, nothing's happening to them. They are covering up for one of the biggest pedophiles in history that implicates some of the most powerful people across the globe. And they are sweeping it under the rug. There have been no arrests made, and it doesn't seem like they're pursuing it at all. Caroline even just recently said that they're not, releasing anything in regards to it because of, how graphic and gross all of it is.
What do you tell MAGA supporters who say they want anyone involved in Jeffrey Epstein's alleged crimes to be held accountable?
This administration wants anyone who has ever committed a crime to be held accountable, and they put out a memo in conclusion of that review. There was material they did not release because, frankly, it was incredibly graphic and it contained child pornography, which is not something that's appropriate for public consumption. But they committed to an exhaustive investigation. That's what they did, and they provided the results of that. That's transparency.
Oh, they provided the results of that? How many people went to jail, Caroline? I must have missed that update. Were there a lot of bad guys that got locked up here? Oh man, that's huge. I feel like more people should know that. Can you share who all got arrested from all of the Epstein investigations? This vile worm tries to say that nothing's going to get released, and I guess nothing's going to happen to anyone that was incriminated here because a lot of it was not fit for public consumption. Fucking weirdo, no one's asking you to share the videos or anything like that. But you are saying that you have this evidence and you're doing nothing with it. And we know there is a list of clients and a lot of people that engaged with it fucking arrest them. What the public deserves is that you will follow through with your duty of arresting these evil people that you have unbelievable amounts of evidence on, which is not happening. This is the furthest thing from transparency, unless she's trying to argue that this cover-up is so blatant, obvious, and terrible that everyone can see through it, so you can immediately know how guilty some of the most powerful people are. Then I guess that makes sense, because this is such a poorly done attempt at burying this that everyone can see through it. Is that the point she was trying to make? Perhaps, I guess. Every step of the way here, they are lying and trying to cover up everything related to Jeffrey Epstein, including this footage that was supposed to be raw footage.
The video aspect ratio suddenly shifts as the tape changes over, or whatever they claim. You can see that right here. There's like a sudden shift in the video. I have not changed this video in any way. I have it in the Premiere Pro timeline, which I guess they had as well. So this is as intended. So there's this just weird shifts in the footage. I mean, this was done in actually a very sloppy way after they explicitly talked about needing to do it in the right way so the American public could rely on it.
Now, as CoffeeZilla says, it could be all just incompetence, like actually just fucking troglodytes here in charge of all of this. So even though they called attention to needing to do it the right way, they're just so fucking brain dead, like actual lobotomites, and just couldn't even do it the right way, so then they just farted this out. Like, it could be, like, no manipulation here, like, this is just how it's done, like, for some reason it dumps a minute, like, as it's switching over, and they had to put it into editing software and fuck up the aspect ratio. I guess it could be incompetence, but I would not be that charitable with this. They are doing so much lying. Again, we already know about the list existing, and we know about the blackmail. That is all real stuff, and now they're denying it. And now they're doing this modifying of footage while trying to fight back against the conspiracy that Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself. It's just insanity. They are so confident that the public will do nothing about it. They'll get upset, but they'll just swallow it and be done with it and move on. And some people are, but I'm happy that most aren't. They are desperately doing everything in their power to try and bury this whole conversation about Jeffrey Epstein. Like a couple days ago where Trump interrupted a question about it in order to try and shift to something else. Like, are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein, that creep? How can you be talking about him when there's floods going on in Texas? It's such a bad look.
Why there was a minute missing from the jailhouse tape on the native set?
Yeah, sure. If
Hey, could I just interrupt for 1 second? Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years. You're asking, we have Texas, we have this, we have all of the things. And are people still talking about this guy, this creep? That is unbelievable. Do you want to waste the time, and do you feel like answering?
I don't mind answering.
I mean, I can't believe you're asking a question on Epstein at a time like this where we're having some of the greatest success and also tragedy with what happened in Texas.
Yeah, people are still talking about Epstein. It's one of the biggest, most in-your-face cover-ups most people have ever seen. This is one of the biggest pedophiles in history that implicates so many extremely powerful people. Yeah, people are still talking about it, understandably, because the people deserve answers, and there needs to be justice for all of the people that engaged in this. This desperation from those in power to move on from the Jeffrey Epstein conversation is extremely scary, and they are doing it with reckless abandon, feeling completely immune to consequences for all of this. And so far, they're right. Like, there's not anything that's coming from it. There's still no arrest being made. There's still no new information coming out. The only information we get is more information about how they are lying, like modifying the footage and shit. It's craziness. I just wanted to give you a little update here with everything that's unfolding in the Jeffrey Epstein case. And yeah, that's really about it. So yeah. I'm about to have a conniption. I'm sure all of you have seen this by now, but I have to yap about it. It is infuriating. New information just dropped from the Jeffrey Epstein investigation, if you want to call it that. I don't think that nomenclature applies to this circus that's being performed here with all of this. It's a clown show. It's about as much of an investigation as Bozo investigating a pie that was thrown in his face. It's a fucking joke. Read this headline and tell me it doesn't make you fail the try not to fume challenge. This shit has got me steaming. They are trying to, with a straight face, say that Jeffrey Epstein never had a client list and did commit suicide. There was no foul play, no fishy business there. That was no horseradish, no flag on the play, just a classical suicide. Also, no client list, no blackmail, no evidence of either of those two things. How peculiar, considering it wasn't that long ago that they were flaunting that the client list was coming out, the Epstein Files were releasing. They even gave the Phase 1 files to a bunch of influencers online for some photo ops, and they were posing like fucking prom pictures. They made a big hoopla that those were the Epstein Files in their paws right there. And they'll eventually release to us plebeians out here. Well, if there's no client list, what the fuck is in those folders? What Pokemon card binder? Like, what did you give them? Yeah, apparently there's no client list, so what did you hand them? Just an empty file? An empty folder? And not only that, Pam Bondi herself here, she has made so many statements about, like, how the Epstein client list is on her desk right now. You know, it's over there gathering dust. She'll eventually brush it all off and drip feed us the information as it comes, and everyone that's on that list is gonna face justice. She was cutting WWE promos about the Jeffrey Epstein client list. She'd even set hard dates on when it's gonna drop like it was a new album. Mark your calendars, sports fans. The Epstein Files dropping on this date. And then the date rolls around and it's just nothing. Like, actually nothing Burger Central. Like, shit got more delayed than Half-Life 3. It just never showed up, even though she would set dates, and then all of a sudden she's got excuses for why it's not there. But now, apparently there was no client list in the first place, so what the fuck was sitting on your desk, Pam? How could the client list be sitting on your desk when the DOJ and FBI say that there is no client list? What an interesting pickle. That's quite a conundrum. She says that she had the client list, like a physical copy on her desk. She constantly has referenced the client list, spoken directly about the client list. But now all of a sudden, DOJ and FBI said it's not a real thing. I have no idea how she's even going to begin to tackle that plot hole there. It is crazy how stupid they treat the rest of humanity. Like, all of the people on the planet are lobotomites, and they can be fed any information whatsoever, and they'll accept it with a smile on their face and think nothing of it. And in some cases, that does happen. But in something like this, there should be 0 people on the planet that are happy with this and believe this, because this is the most blatant, fraudulent lie since Wes Watson lying about being 6 feet tall. This is absurd. This is just ridiculous. It is downright diabolical to be doing a cover-up job like this. It's literally fart investigated poop and found no shit. They have talked about it themselves for so long about having this client list and all of this blackmail evidence and everything, about how all of them are going to face justice. Pam Bondi talked about tens of thousands of videos that they recovered as well. Like, how are you going to just wipe your ass with that and expect people to believe it? If anyone believes this, you need serious psychiatric help. If you actually swallow this shit they fed you with this information, that it's, you know, a case of suicide, no client list, and no blackmail, you really need to take a hard look in the mirror. Because you are just not like a thinker. Like, you don't have a thinking cap on at all. Because this is just absurd. There should be no one on the planet that is fooled by this. This should make you mad. It absolutely should make you very upset. Because this is blatantly covering up for corrupt, evil people in high positions of power. I saw this said as a joke, but I actually think we're pretty close to them just denying Jeffrey Epstein ever even existed in the first place. I really think the next step here is they're going to start talking about, like, evidence to confirm that Jeffrey Epstein was never real. It was a code name for, like, a shadow operative that never actually existed. There was no island. There were no victims. I think we are not far away from them trying that play, because they are using every weird tactic in the book to try and bury anything even remotely related to Jeffrey Epstein, while trying to put on a strong face about how everyone's going to face justice. Well, where's that? That hasn't happened, and it hasn't happened for years. So what is up with all of this lying? They just keep kicking the can down the road. They have still not released the Epstein Files, and now they've put the kibosh on it, saying the Epstein Files aren't even real in the first place. It was all just made up, a fucking illusion. So now it is 100% ensuring everyone that was associated with all of that evil gets away with it. And they're just proudly doing it in front of the entire American public's face, spitting in everyone's mouth by trying to say it doesn't exist, it's not real. No client list, no blackmail, nothing like that, and he did kill himself. And apparently they're releasing some surveillance camera footage, like a lot of hours worth of that, to show that no one entered his cell during any of that time. Obviously just doing everything in their power to put the conversation of Jeffrey Epstein and everything around the topic to rest. So now you have the three-letter organizations all working together, the DOJ, the FBI, the DVD, the VCR, the BBL, all of them working together, now trying to sell this horseradish about there being no client list and no blackmail. Like, I cannot believe that they are just trying to just say that, even though it's been something they've supposedly acted on and investigated for years and made huge progress on and want to get the information out to the American people because of these dangerous individuals that need to be held accountable and face justice for the crimes that they engaged in on Jeffrey Epstein's island. It was even used as a political talking point for some individuals to gain positions of power, using it as part of their platform about how they're going to fight for justice and release these Jeffrey Epstein files that have been, clogged up for so long and not, the information not out and available to the public. They were going to be the ones to break that dam. They were going to pursue this, come hell or high water, fighting night and day for it. And now those people have been elected only to flip-flop, and now they're totally fine burying the Jeffrey Epstein subject entirely. You should be asking yourself, why? I'll stop ranting on it, but it is just mind-boggling how dumb the government thinks everybody is. And I hope they're not right, because under no circumstances should this be something that people just let go of. Like, oh, this is a bit of a blemish right now, but people forget it in a little while. It's not that big of a deal. It's a huge deal. And there should be nobody out there downplaying it. This is preposterous. And I just had to yap about it. I just said I'd stop ranting about it, but now I'm once again getting fucking wound up about it. That's really about it. So yeah. 2 days ago it was tomorrow. Yesterday it was today. Now look at us. In the present. Today. And still no Epstein files. They treat these like Bubble Bass treats pickles on a Krabby Patty. Still no pickles, but it turns out he's just hiding them. They have the files, it seems. And instead of releasing it to the American public, they'd rather just give these binders that say Epstein Files Phase 1 to some influencers, so that way they can pose with it like a prized fish, where they're smiling and laughing about it like they're about to go to homecoming, instead of just releasing that information. It's so fucking weird. They're treating these extremely serious files with child sex traffickers in them as if they had just got like a baseball from their favorite MLB player who threw it into the crowd for them. It's just not being taken seriously. Not only by the people that have the binder, it seems, but by the actual GOP. I was going to mention this yesterday, but I decided to, sit on my swamp ass and just stew. We'll wait to see what they say about it tomorrow, because I thought there was a chance maybe the House Judiciary Twitter account got hacked with this post. Like, surely they'd release a statement today, but no. They're just going to plug their ears and pretend it didn't happen. But I'm sure a lot of you saw yesterday the actual official House Judiciary Twitter account rickrolled the Epstein Files. I shit you not. They posted this tweet, and when you click that link, it takes you to a rickroll. The tweet eventually got deleted, but it was up for hours. It wasn't like a brief thing that some random person scooted into the office and did as a joke. This was something that they posted and kept up for a while. This shit is so outrageous, it has my voice cracking. My vocal folds are left in disbelief like they just watched a David Blaine stunt. Except this isn't like a magic trick or an illusion, this is all very real. They are treating the Epstein Files like some kind of joke. This is one of the most infamous child sex traffickers in American history. And they are treating it as if it's not serious. Pff, what? And now they're just not going to ever address that this happened. They're just going to ignore it. That's craziness. Now, like I said at the beginning, I didn't expect the Epstein files to be released today because it's been very clear that that's just not coming. And I think we're at the point where even if they do ever release the Epstein files, there is no faith left, no trust that they won't be tampered with. Like, heavily redacted. They did release some things yesterday, but it was all old information. It wasn't anything new. There was like a couple of like tiny new tidbits, but not really. And at the end of the day, like I said, there's going to be so little trust that this hasn't been heavily fucking flubered with. Made that word up, but it sounds like it could apply. Like, it's a Schmeckeldorfing, it feels like, where the information, it might not even be accurate anymore. Because this has been such an absolute clown show. You can't even trust it. I also just don't even think it's ever going to be released. Period. Like, this has been something that they just keep teasing over and over again, like Beyond Good and Evil 2, and it just, nothing ever comes. It all just fizzles out. And then everyone just forgets about it in like 2 days' time. And I'm so tired of that. They had said the information would be released yesterday, and it was going to be huge. Like, they hyped the shit out of it. This is going to be the Super Bowl of Jeffrey Epstein files. We finally have the whole kit and caboodle. This is everything, and there's going to be repercussions. People are going to be thrown in jail. People are going to be arrested. Well, that didn't happen yesterday, so they said it's going to be today. It'll be February 28th at 8 a.m. sharp. It's just the fucking pesky FBI director did a little, shady business over here, and, well, we're getting our handle on it, but it's coming 8 a.m. February 28th. Well, still not here. I didn't expect it to actually be released today, but, much like a growth spurt in my 30s, it would have been a nice surprise to finally have them actually release these things. And I feel like in a week, it won't be here. A month, it still won't be released. And eventually people will just forget that it was ever even mentioned, or they might make like an offhanded comment about it like, oh no, we released those. What are you talking about? We stayed true to what we said. We released it. And it's just the information that's already been known for fucking years, with like nothing new added to it. Not what was promised, not what they said was actually coming, with all the arrests, all the jail time, and all these new names and all this new information about these evil fucking people that participated in this child sex trafficking. That has still not been released, and there's still not been consequences. So, when is that ever going to be released? Is it ever? And if it's not, why do you keep pretending that it is? It doesn't make any fucking sense. And it's infuriating. It just feels like all of it is just not being treated seriously at all. The fucking judiciary just making an actual joke out of it, just mocking the Epstein files, really just taking the whole thing of child sex trafficking and boiling it down to a fucking rickroll. That is beyond deplorable. And then just saying like, oh, the files are coming. Nah, they didn't. So what? Like, it's just, there are legitimately, like, nothing is taken seriously anymore by anybody or anything, it feels. I fucking hate it. It's got me spitting. I am covering these monitors in saliva. I am just flabbergasted. I feel like I'm in rock bottom right now, like with the amount of spit that I'm doing here. But I can't help it. It is unbelievable. Let's just set aside this instance of the House Judiciary rickroll. Why in tarnation on God's green earth would you want your House Judiciary to be cringe meme lord Reddit tier losers making rickrolls in the year 2025 of our Lord on anything, let alone something as serious as the Epstein files? How is that not embarrassing? How is that not shameful? I'll stop yapping and ranting about it, but it is just mind-boggling that they can do that and then nothing happens. They just get to pretend it never happened. They just don't even have the wherewithal to even mention it again or try and explain what led them to thinking that was a good idea, or explaining why the Epstein files that they've promised are still not being released. It's so fucking dumb. It's really about it. See ya. Get your protractor out, nerd, because I'm ranting Wumbo style right now. I am so tired of the Epstein files being treated like it's Half-Life 3, where there's all these like leaks being teased all the time and then nothing. Nothing ever happens. Just release the files. It's been years, and it feels like every 6 months there's like this big push, like, they're finally coming. It's on the way. Batten down the hatches because you're not ready for this bombshell, and then poof. What? Nothing. Nothing new. The reason I'm ranting about this is because yesterday I kept reading and kept being told, like, tomorrow's the big day. The Epstein Files are finally fully declassified, and all of it's coming out tomorrow. The dam has broken. We're going to know everyone's names, and we're not ready for it because there's names on there you'd never expect, like fucking Commander Shepard's on there, you know. The Citadel has been compromised. It's like, okay, finally, it's about time, you know. All this red tape, we finally got around it. Good, let's release it. Well, now it's tomorrow, and all I have seen, some people have this binder that they're all holding that says Epstein Files Phase 1, and they're doing this. Taking prom photos with it. They're just cheesing on top of the binder and still not releasing it. If what you have there are the Epstein Files, why don't you make like a fart trapped in my butt and release it? Instead, they're just taking like these photo ops, like they're just looking for Instagram updates. Like, what the fuck? It's starting to just feel completely performative. It's feeling like it's just banished to the shadow realm forever. Because I have seen this as a talking point for a while now when people are looking for like approval on things or trying to get into a position of power. I've seen this as a big talking point, like, hey, if you choose me, when I get in there, come hell or high water, I don't care whose feelings get hurt, I'm releasing the Epstein Files. I'm going to go in there, I'm going to take a power stance, lat spread, and teabag this shit, going right into the department, marching in there, slapping the files out of their hand, and I'm putting it in the American public's hands. Take my word for it. Well, now there's a lot of people that can do that, and it's still not happening. The names are still not being released. The most we ever get is these little tiddlywinks of Epstein file morsels that have been known for years, and they parade it around like it's new info. It's so stupid, and I'm beyond tired of it, because there is no doubt so much redacted information that is still not publicly known that I'm fully confident they have access to, especially judging by these pictures they're all posing with, like, here's the Epstein Files, I've got them right here. Well, how about you open it and let us take a peek inside if we're that close to releasing it? Like, today was supposed to be the day. At least that's everything I kept reading and getting told. So when is it? When will we finally know all of these names and all of this information? Because it has been so long of the same song and dance. Now, as I've been making this video, a new article just dropped that states that after review of the release documents from today, most of the information has been heavily redacted and previously reported. Also, it's called into question if the information was ever even classified in the first place, and it's drawing, of course, heavy criticism because apparently it boils down to being some of Epstein's phone book. And now I just read another article that said it's being pushed to tomorrow because the FBI director is withholding thousands of pages. It's such a mess. Like, I am fully expecting tomorrow to roll around and still nothing to be there. Hopefully I'm wrong about that. We'll see. But based on what I'm reading from the people that did have access to this huge new information, it boils down to mostly redacted shit, as well as things we already knew, and then some of Epstein's phone book. So when are we actually getting the meat and potatoes, the fucking spaghetti and meatballs of all of these Epstein names and all of this absolutely evil shit that they apparently have had access to for so long but still haven't released? It just feels like I'm perpetually reading BuzzFeed slop headlines in regards to this. The first arrest will shock you. The Epstein Files are coming. Okay, that's exciting. When? I'm ready to be shocked. When's that first arrest happening? Why hasn't it happened yet? Like, who is it? Who are you trying to catch? Is it fucking Adam Warlock? Like, why can't we get a handle on them? When is that first arrest happening? Like, if these headlines just keep popping up over and over and over again in regards to the Epstein Files, and then there's still nothing that ever gets released. It's at the point now where I really feel like there might not ever be an arrest that comes from it, and there may never come a point where the Epstein Files ever get fully released. I also read a couple days ago that allegedly the FBI was working to delete some of the files, so it's just such a fucking disaster. It's so infuriating. And I keep hearing time and time again, like, it's coming, it's almost here. It's set your alarm clock. But it's become like the Bloodborne 2 of documents. It just doesn't exist, it feels like. I guess when Jeffrey Epstein mysteriously found a way to kill himself in prison, like, you know, Tony Stark of suicide, he killed himself with nothing but a box of scraps and toilet paper. Somehow, all of the evidence and everything he had vanished with him. And now it only lives on in headlines occasionally about, like, well, it's coming, maybe. No, it's actually coming this time, and then it never does. But again, hopefully I'm wrong. Maybe tomorrow is the big day with a lot of new information, a lot of new names, and maybe, God willing, some fucking consequences for the people on the Epstein list. Here's hoping. Fingers crossed. But anyway, just wanted to rant about this briefly. That's about it. So, yep.